Hi, good evening everyone. This is Jess with Love Nails. I am going to show you guys a quick fill with an Adhere and Enhance from our UV LED Performance line. This lovely lady here is modeling for us today. Okay. So with this, cuticle's icky. With this application, you don't need to use any kind of primer. If you'd like to, you can use a Fix-It. She tends to go between 2 and 3 weeks and doesn't have any lifting, so I skipped the Fix-It because she doesn't really need it. But if you do have someone who lifts, by all means, use the Fix-It. There is a little bit of sparkle on my brush. It's okay, it's a present. She'll live. I always use the same brush pretty much until it dies, and so yes, sparkle does get on my brush, and it just adds to the look. Hi Carrie, so nice to see you. Carrie is from Kansas City. She's a good friend of mine. All right. So I've just prepped her and cleansed her with nail prep, which is 99% alcohol based. So you just want to get her nail prepped and ready. And then I just brush this on really thin. You don't have to scrub it in the nail, just get it on. I try to make sure I don't have any big chunky sparkle because those would show, but these fine ones are going to be underneath her blush. You're not going to see them. All right, go ahead on in. Next hand. And this is the UV LED Performance line, so she can just go 30 seconds in the light. There's no need to flash cure this coat because it's super thin. There's not going to be any heat of any kind. It's just going to get it on there and get it in the light. This is our 106 brush. This is the one that if you watch my videos I use for pretty much everything. When I do French, I do use the smaller brush, this one, which is the 107. So if you compare them side by side, this is the 106 that I use for pretty much everything, and this is the 107 that I use to wipe French. So I'll be using that in a few moments. This is Pamela, by the way. Everyone say hi to Pamela. Go ahead and put that in. So I'm using our Enhanced Pink. It's a clear pink, so you can see that it really levels very quickly. So if it's warm, which it is very warm in here right now, because I've had the heat on all day. So I'm going to see how it works on her nails. If I feel like her nails are a little bit too runny, I'll freeze her in the light. But typically I can get all 4 nails done separately and then the thumb. So that's going to be my goal, is to do 4 nails and the thumb separately. A little piece of lint. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Jessica's watching for me and will let me know what your questions might be. I'm just going to pillow up around the cuticle. Pillow, pillow, pillow. And then holding my brush flat over the nail, just going to glide it down. Yes, I see that piece of lint there. Fuzz is the devil. Okay. Brush that down. Again, pillow from one side to the other. And then brush it down. I'm kind of keeping an eye on these. They're doing okay. They're not running on me. If they were really runny, like if someone has a really high C curve or their body heat's really warm, and this tends to run a little bit faster than natural, which is what I use a lot of the time as well, then freeze them in the light for a few seconds, and that'll keep the gel from continuing to move on you. Just brushing off the tip because I want to make sure my tip stays nice and thin. I'm just checking these now, just because it's warm, so it will level. There's a little bubble there. Pull that out. I'm just checking my line of light. that little corner. Okay, so I'm going to freeze literally 1, 2, and out. And I'm going to do her thumb. That amount of curing time is enough to keep it from moving all over the place, so you can do the thumb. And then I'm going to flash cure this a couple of times. The Performance line, the Enhanced, doesn't get quite as hot as Natural. So if you don't have the new hybrid light and people have to go in and out, you'll notice that this one isn't going to get near as hot as the Natural does. It's just a different kind of gel. It was designed to be a little cooler curing. All right, go ahead. And I'm going to turn that light off for a second. I'm going to flash cure her without her going in and out of the light. I'm actually just going to turn the light on and off a few times for her so that she doesn't have to go in and out and bump into the light. And then brush down the tip. And then I'm going to flash on, off. Pillow towards the cuticle. You don't need to get it in the cuticle, just pillow it towards it. And then with a flat brush, you're just gonna, I just tap the top of the pillow and pull down. Tapping the top of the pillow and pulling down. That way you get a nice thin application. Now I'm just gonna let that light stay on her other hand. Did that get hot at all? Nope. Yeah, so that 2 flash cures is plenty for Enhance. And then it can finish curing while you're finishing your hand. Just brush it down. And this technique, of course, I don't do any hand finish filing at the end. If I was doing a full set, I would finish file, but I don't finish file my fills or my 30-day manicure. I file around the edges at the very end, but that's it. I don't do any surface filing or anything like that. All right, let me just get a stick real quick. Just want to check to make sure. I thought there was one side. Yep, right here. A little bit that just went right there on the side. Try to get that out. All right, I'm going to flash that. So there's 1, 2, and then out. That's enough for me to go ahead and do her thumb. Sorry, in camera. Pillow it around the cuticle. And then with your brush flat, just want to glide your brush over the top of that. And it's going to self-level beautifully. It's not going to go running all over the place. If you don't touch the cuticle or the sidewalls, it should stay right where it's supposed to. You can see the line of light. It levels perfectly smooth without any finish filing. So I can go right into my color right after this. All right, go ahead on in. I'm going to turn that off a few times for her. Okay, so straight into your first coat of color. So I do a lot of French with either blush or delicate. Those are the 2 base coats I use. I don't let anyone go clear. So if they like clear, I still do 1 coat of blush. I just don't do it. Because any natural nail is going to have some kind of discoloration, whether it be these thin lines or little just bruisey looking things on the nails. So you just want to, it's like makeup. You want to have 1 sheer coat of something, and it will just make the nail look much prettier by just doing 1 sheer coat. I'm going to freeze that one more time, and then I'll let it finish curing while I finish this hand. Piece of fuzz. So you can let your clients choose if they want 1 coat or 2, but again, I always do at least 1 coat. And after I do my coat of pink, whether it be delicate or blush, I'm going to wipe my brush off, just by overlapping it, wiping it off, and wipe off your blush on your free edge. The reason I do that is so that you don't have a layer of pink and then a layer of pink and then white and white. You want to have your pink gone from your free edge, so it's just white. so that you maintain a nice thin free edge. Also, it's much easier to get a nice smooth finished top coat when you don't have pink, pink, white, white. Otherwise you get that bump in the front. But if you remove that white off the tip and you apply your white, and your pink and your white are about the same level, your top coat's going to fill in perfectly and you're going to get a nice smooth nail to finish. All right, go ahead and put that in. If you prefer the options line, there is a color called Pink Blush. So the options line is in a pot. Some techs prefer the pot for whatever reason. It's a little bit more flexible. They like the extra strength that it gives. So if you prefer the pot, Pink Blush is an ideal color for French. Same technique though. Everything else is the same. You would just be grabbing it out of a pot instead of a bottle. All of our Luxio colors, these right here, I threw the brush. All of our Luxio colors are completely solvent free. So you're not dealing with your gel in a bottle aging. So when you deal with a gel that is solvent based, so basically you're talking about a gel that's polished with a little bit of gel in it. You can tell if you smell it. If it smells like nail polish, it's kind of a dead giveaway. But typically those gels are going to age and you're going to get more chipping over time. So that's why you may have clients that have no chipping for the first week and a half and then suddenly start chipping because the product's aging. This product is completely 100% gel. There's no smell to it whatsoever, no solvents or anything like that. And it maintains flexibility, so you're not going to have chipping and that kind of thing. Would you like one coat or two?
I'll do two.
Two coats, okay. So if you've noticed that your Luxio takes a little bit longer to soak off, that's why. It soaks off faster when there's more solvents in it, and without the solvents it's going to take a little bit longer to soak off. It's one reason I file it off, but there's a host of others. If I have a client like this weekend, I was in a wedding for my awesome cousin Mark, and his bride-to-be, I made her nail. That's why my nails are so plain, you guys. I know you probably saw that and thought, why did Jess have nails like that? Yes, they're wedding nails. So, very pretty though. It's Afterglow, a coat of Afterglow and then a coat of Stardust for this color here. So I did the bride's nails, and then her maid of honor was from California, and she wanted the same nails that we had, but she works in food service and she wouldn't be allowed back with nail polish when she got home, and she didn't want to have to worry about taking it off. So luckily I thought ahead and brought my fabulous Nail-Liberty from Elaine Watson, and I applied that to her nails, and so she was able to enjoy the weekend with her gel color that we did that matched ours. And today I got a text from her sister that she was so excited because it peeled right off just as I promised, and she was able to go back to work without having to worry about soaking it off or any kind of removal process. So it's really good to have Nail-Liberty on hand. So if you need more information about Nail-Liberty, please feel free to text me, and I will be happy to send you guys a link for how to get it cheaper than just getting it online, because there is a retail price and then of course there's professional price. So send me a text and I will be happy to hook you guys up with Nail-Liberty. I plan to use it more in the future. Anytime I have someone who is a temporary customer, isn't sure they're going to come back, you know, if I sell a gift certificate to someone who gives it to somebody and they aren't sure they're going to come back, I would use Nail-Liberty as the base coat so that they don't have to worry about soaking it off. So that's a really awesome trick to have in our tool chest as nail techs. All right, so second coat of pink. Again, I just wipe it off the free edge real quick. All right, go ahead. So if you've watched some of my other French videos, I've used Polar a lot. I'm going to give this a good shake because it's been a little while. I've used Polar a lot, but Pamela likes a little bit more neutral of a French. So this is pure. It's just slightly less bright than Polar. Polar is a very, very, very bright white, and this one's going to give you a little bit more of a neutral look, but Gonna apply. And I am going to do this in one coat, so I want to make sure I get good coverage in one coat. The lamp I'm using is the Accents Hybrid lamp. It cures in UV and LED. It cures the wavelength for both UV and LED. And not all LED lights are created equal, so if you're having problems with your gels pocketing or not being shiny all the time or things like that, you really should look into the quality of lamp you're using, because again, lamps are designed to work with specific products based on their wavelength. And so if you have a lamp that is made for a wavelength of, say, 400 nanometers, but it needs the strength of like 410, then you're never going to get the right kind of cure. So that's why when it comes to LED lights, using the kind of lamp that's built for your product is really a good idea. There are some lamps that work fine with our products. I've messed around with Tanya's CND lamp, and I believe that one works really well, so that's good. All right. So again, this is the 107 brush. I'm going to just wipe it clean, make sure it's clean. And you just want to wipe from one side to the other. You don't want to cut it like this. That's like how you do acrylic. You want to draw your smile line from one side to the other. And this is a salon nail, this isn't a competition nail, so I'm not going to be trying to make a really deep smile line. You really want to base it on their own shape. If she had, longer nails that were maybe almond shape, I might give a little bit more of a U shape to them, but I try to really look at their own nail shape and see what's going to look best on their own nail shape. Never do I go sideways. If it's totally sideways, like that, oh, so not cute. Needs to at least dip down some for it to have a nice shape to it. All right, after I get from one side to the other, I always go back and do a second look, and if I need to, I swipe again, because that is what is good about gel, so that you can give it an extra swipe and make sure it's how you want it to be. Pamela came in and said, I want Jess Hole French. And as some of you may or may not know, I used to be Jess Hole, but that is what she remembers me as, so these are Jess Hole French. So I do 4 nails. What desk lamp am I using? I am using the Slimline Daylight lamp. That is my favorite lamp for getting good coverage. I'm probably going to start adding a bigger lamp over my workspace just for these videos so you guys can get a little bit more light. But this is strictly just the Daylight LED desk lamp, which I believe is on my website. I will check again tonight to make sure, because tonight I will be adding the mermaid collection to my website, because I should have it in my hot little hands in the next couple of days. So I will also get that up tonight when I'm done with clients. I work till 10 tonight with clients, so it'll be a little bit later, but I will have the mermaid up, so if you guys order tomorrow, it may come tomorrow and we can get it shipped out to you, or the next day, so very excited. What wipe is that? These wipes are the Accents gel wipes. They are $7.95 for a bag of 200. So one thing I noticed was right here in this corner, it's a little tiny bit missing, so I'm just going to dab that in there. What glitter do you have on your nails? I've never seen them that short. Yeah, the glitter is Stardust. It's Luxio Stardust, and it's over a coat of Afterglow, which is also a Luxio color. So I did one coat of Afterglow and then a coat of Stardust for my nails. Gorgeous for brides. I'm not a fan of French for brides, I kind of try to talk them out of it as best I can, because I feel like it's a white line. Go ahead and put that in, please. I feel like it's a white line, like in pictures, that you just see way too obvious. So I try to do something different. So she was big on pink, and so we did pink, and she wanted a little sparkle. So that was what we came up with. But it's a semi-sheer. Stardust is a semi-sheer, which is why you can see the pink under it. And it has just a little bit of a white pearl to it. I'll show you guys in a second. I do have some that do the option silver twinkle over their French to add a little bit of sparkle. That's really pretty too. Thank you. Pillowing. Okay, explain pillowing. So when I am doing pillowing on the nail right now, it's hard to explain it just because I'm not in the process, but when I was doing it earlier, it means that I'm creating a pillow in front of my brush and I'm pushing that pillow up, and then I'm touching my brush on top of it and pulling that pillow over the nail to make a nice smooth surface. So pillowing just means pushing the ball of gel kind of around the front of the nail. So if you have been doing backfills and that kind of thing, I used to do backfills all the time before we came out with Luxio, and I don't anymore. I have one person that occasionally likes it backfill style just because she likes a higher arch to her nail, and so I have to go through the whole pink and white gel and finish filing and top glossing. But for everybody else, they really prefer this look. It's the most natural look, because you get a nice thin layer of gel first. All right, go ahead and come here. So we're gonna do top gloss, and then I will explain to you guys line of light. First, I had my gels balancing. So when you are running low on one bottle, take an old bottle and just let them pour out. Because these don't age, you can mix old jars with new jars, no problem. And I go through gloss really fast. So I was just balancing mine behind me. So with line of light, once you apply your gloss over the nail, your line of light is the reflection of the gel in the surface of the nail. Here's a side view of her nail. This is before finishing. I'm going to be finishing the sides and the front. So I'm pushing back, or this would, you know, I guess you could say it's technically pillowing, but I'm just getting towards the cuticle. And then I just dab a little bit right in the center if needed, and then brush down the front. And then just check that line of light. You want it to be relatively smooth before you move on. It's going to continue to level out, so it doesn't have to be perfect, because it will continue to self-level as you move on. I always do 4 nails and the thumb separate when it comes to gloss, especially with French or with glitter, because I'm adding slightly a bit more gloss than I would with just a color, because I'm filling in that little bitty gap right here and just floating that over the top. And then just brushing down. Do you guys see how that's perfectly smooth now? You can look at that line, it just goes right over the surface of the nail. Same here, it's nice and smooth, nice and smooth, nice and smooth. So I'm just going to freeze this for a few seconds. 1, 2, and come back out, please. So I just turn the light off, and by hitting any of the buttons, it turns that light back off, and that way the timer is ready to go again when you put it back in the light. It's automatic on and automatic off based on the timer, but if you want it to turn off before the timer, then you just hit the button. Okay, all the way in, please. Pamela is one of my fabulous clients who will admit she sits at home and watches these videos, which cracks me up. I'm telling them your secrets.
I love them. I want all of them.
She wants all. She's afraid of color, but she wants the designs on all her nails. Do we all have clients like that? I think so. Okay. And since we have quite a few in here tonight, I'm going to go ahead and stay on so you guys can see how I finish her set here. just the finish filing around the edges that I do. And as you guys can see, the finished product. This one, there's a little bit of a bump there, so I'm trying to get that smoothed out. Because again, I do not finish file, because finish filing takes too long. We're going to freeze that. 1, 2, and come back out, please. And grab a little bit more, dab it on, and brush it over the surface. Is this the average length most of my clients wear? I would say yes. Most of my clients are active wearers, so they are about fingertip. Well, yeah, I would say probably at least a good half of them are at least this length, if not even a little bit shorter. Pamela even goes shorter most of the time because she likes them really short, but she's going
100 words a minute.
She types 100 words a minute, but she's going on vacation, so we actually left them a little bit longer than usual. Oh,
And I
isn't
have
that
never
sweet?
ever
So
had
nice.
an end that chipped ever in the history of wearing French with you.
Ah, that's because this is awesome stuff.
Yeah, the
So,
weight never ever chips.
so you guys pull it down on the side. See how there's that little bit of gloss there? All you're gonna do is just get that and smooth it right out. Same with this side. Just get it and smooth it right out. Then I just check my ends. Side, front, side. Hello, April.
Hi, lady.
Alright, I'm going to do this again on every nail. I go ahead and I go all the way around, check side, side, and front, and I just finish it. And if you had a little bit shrink up, see how this little tiny bit shrunk up there? It's going to be gone, like that, gone. So, you don't have to stress so much. In the real world, you want your clients to be happy, and you want to do really good nails, but you want to do it in a time that works for their schedule as well. Squeak, squeak, squeak. So again, if there's a little bit of gel on the side, no big deal. You can just lightly file it on the side. Try not to get the top of the nail, because then you do have to buff it and re-gloss it, and that's a bummer when that happens. But see the very end here? It's a little bit that shrunk back, no big deal. You don't have to worry about a seal being broken. This is Accents. Accents is not that picky. Works really, really well, and my clients can shorten their nails if they need to, and it's no problem at all. So then I take my handy dandy sanding band, which you all know I use, and I want to get this feed just up enough to go underneath the end of their free edge. And I'm just going to see how that, you can see that little, sorry, it's hard with the dust there, but you guys see that little bit of extra nail there? I just want to angle this just a little bit and take off the very end here just to thin this free edge out. So then you end up with a much thinner free edge. You guys see that? It's kind of focusing. There we go. So you want your free edge to look nice and thin. Okay, you guys see that? Just the white without a lot of extra nail. By doing this, you're also helping eliminate any curling, because some of the time when people have the curling on their free edge, it's because they have a thick natural nail and it's drying out and it's peeling away from the tip. And that is one of the reasons you get peeling and separation. So if you can get that, remove that little bit of nail on the edge, it will actually help a lot with curling. Okay. Again, we're just going to hit the sides, and this just finishes up these sides. See this little bit of gel that's sticking out here? We want to make sure we get rid of that. Come right down the sides. Okay, and I'm just going to hit this at the end. It's at a very, very low speed. I'm at a 2 or 3, so it's a really low speed. Using the same sanding band I used to remove her old color, which is my coarse sanding band. And just coming in at an angle just to thin out that free edge. And then I always finish with some oil. Always, always, always. And the other thing that oil does is if for some reason your wipe had a little bit of residual gel on it, sometimes people, before I started doing this trick, people would be like, oh, my nail's not shiny. And what happens is that there's a little bit left over from that residual layer. So by rubbing your oil in, you get all of that off. The file I'm using is the 100-100. I use it for everything. I don't like to spend a lot of time, but you definitely can use a 100-180 if you prefer the 180. That's perfectly fine as well. But I wouldn't go anything softer than a 180, or you're just going to spend a lot of time with your file. You guys can hear that squeak? That it means it's super, super shiny. So if you are soaking off your Luxio, this top gloss, you need to file that off if you plan to soak it off, because otherwise you're definitely going to be dealing with non-soaking off product. So there you go, ladies. This is, or men, I don't know who's here, Suki might be here, or G. So here you go. This is blush with Pure as your tip. And the sanding band I was using was still the same coarse band. So I sell those at Love Nails as well. Thank you, Pamela. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.